Have you ever heard someone say that all vegetables are good for your health? Well, what if I told you that this popular phrase can actually be dangerous, especially for those over the age of 60? Imagine this. You're doing everything right. You eat vegetables at lunch, leafy greens at dinner, and you're trying to live a healthy lifestyle. But even so, your legs start to feel weaker, your balance isn't the same, and your memory begins to slip. And the most surprising part? Some of the vegetables you eat regularly, the ones that seem healthy, could be quietly harming you. This is not an exaggeration. Studies published in the Journal of Gerontology involving tens of thousands of older adults have shown that certain common vegetables can accelerate brain aging, increase inflammation in the joints, and reduce blood flow to the legs, increasing the risk of falls and loss of independence. Yes, we're talking about foods you can find in any grocery store and that you might have eaten for lunch today. But don't worry, this video is not just about warnings. Today, I'm going to show you 3 vegetables you should avoid at all costs if you want to maintain your strength, balance, and mental sharpness, and 3 super veggies you should eat every single day because they're powerful allies against aging. They help strengthen your muscles, protect your vision, and even improve blood flow to your feet. Best of all, you'll get clear, science-backed explanations and practical tips that you can apply as soon as your next meal. If you're over 60 or care for someone who is, what you're about to discover could play a key role in protecting your energy, independence, and quality of life. So, grab a pen and paper or just sit back and stay with me until the end, because the last vegetable on the list might truly surprise you. Shall we begin? Number 1. Broccoli, the silent armor against aging. Among all the vegetables we eat, few offer the transformative power that broccoli does, especially for those over 60. Often overlooked because of its taste or appearance, broccoli hides a natural arsenal of protective compounds in every small green floret. And we're not just talking about general health benefits. We're talking about direct effects on your physical independence, mental clarity, and cardiovascular health. Its secret weapon? Sulforaphane, a powerful bioactive compound that activates the body's natural defense systems. It targets and fights chronic inflammation, one of the most dangerous and silent drivers of aging. This type of inflammation doesn't cause pain right away, but over time, it eats away at your blood vessels, joints, and even brain connections. The results show up in everyday life. Less strength in your legs, stiffness in your movements, more frequent falls, and that constant mental fatigue, forgetting names, losing focus, or feeling mentally slow. But broccoli doesn't stop there. It's also extremely rich in vitamin K, a nutrient essential for bone health. After the age of 60, bone density starts to decline rapidly, and even minor fractures can seriously impact your mobility and independence. Broccoli helps to reinforce bone strength and reduce the risk of osteoporosis. It also contains calcium, fiber, antioxidants, and circulation-boosting nutrients, especially helpful for improving blood flow in the legs and feet. Studies show that sulforaphane improves peripheral circulation, which helps prevent heavy legs, numbness, and nighttime cramps, issues that affect so many older adults. Another key point: how you cook broccoli makes all the difference. Overcooking it destroys most of its powerful compounds. The best method? Steam it lightly for just 3 to 5 minutes. This keeps the vibrant color, firm texture, and the highest nutritional value. And here's a simple but powerful suggestion.
1 cup of broccoli at lunch or dinner, properly prepared, can be one of the most meaningful actions you take for your health every day. Not out of obligation, but as a sign of respect for your body. A quiet reminder that you're choosing strength, balance, and clarity. You might not notice the results overnight, but over time, this small habit can lead to something much bigger. Stronger steps, less joint pain, more energy for simple activities, which in later life become true victories. Broccoli isn't a trend or a miracle. It's science, it's consistency, and yes, it can be one of your greatest allies in protecting yourself from the natural wear and tear of aging. Number 2, spinach, the hidden engine for your muscles and mind. When it comes to foods that truly make a difference after 60, spinach deserves a place at the top of the list. It's not just a leafy green for salad. It's a natural strength booster for your muscles, brain, and circulation, with benefits you can feel across your entire body. What makes spinach so powerful? Its high concentration of natural nitrates. These compounds have the ability to dilate blood vessels, which improves circulation and increases the delivery of oxygen and nutrients to your muscles. In practical terms, this means stronger legs, less fatigue when climbing stairs, walking short distances, or getting up from a chair. And for those already feeling muscle weakness or fear of falling, this simple food can dramatically improve your daily life. But spinach isn't just about physical strength. It's also packed with lutein and folate, 2 nutrients that help protect your brain by supporting memory, focus, and mental sharpness. Studies have shown that people who consume more lutein can have cognitive performance that's up to 11 years younger than those who don't. So yes, just 1 serving of spinach a day can help keep your mind as sharp as someone much younger. And there's more. Spinach plays a critical role in protecting your vision. Lutein and zeaxanthin, also found in spinach, help defend against age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in older adults. And as you know, keeping your vision sharp means keeping your independence, reading, driving, recognizing faces, and moving safely through your world. So how should you eat spinach to get the most out of it? Here's the key: don't overcook it. Long cooking times destroy its most valuable nutrients. Instead, lightly sauté it with olive oil or eat it raw in salads and smoothies. A great tip is to make a green smoothie in the morning with spinach, a slice of pineapple, and coconut water. One more thing, spinach works cumulatively. The more regularly you eat it, the more powerful its effects on your blood flow, muscle performance, and mental clarity. 1 or 2 servings a day are enough to see improvements within a few weeks. Spinach is literally a hidden engine inside your body, working in key areas of aging. It strengthens your muscles. It clears your mind. It preserves your vision. It boosts your energy. Simple changes like adding a handful of spinach to your daily meals can help you walk with more confidence and think with more clarity. It's a perfect example of how nature offers simple solutions for the most challenging aspects of aging.
3. Carrots, the root that protects your vision, balance, and vitality. Among all the foods that make up a healthy diet, few are as accessible and as powerful as the carrot. Found in kitchens around the world, carrots go far beyond their sweet flavor and bright orange color. For people over 60, this humble root can act as a natural shield against vision loss, poor balance, and declining physical energy. The key lies in beta-carotene, a powerful antioxidant that your body converts into vitamin A, essential for maintaining healthy vision. And we're not just talking about seeing clearly. For older adults, vision is one of the pillars of independence. It's what allows you to see steps and curbs, recognize familiar faces, read medication labels, walk confidently, and even drive safely. Progressive vision loss, especially caused by age-related macular degeneration, is one of the biggest threats to quality of life after age 60. But studies show that regular intake of beta-carotene can help delay this process and preserve visual sharpness for much longer. And the benefits of carrots don't stop with your eyes. They also help protect balance and motor coordination, which are often compromised with age. How? Thanks to their high antioxidant content, carrots support neuron and blood vessel integrity, ensuring that signals from your brain reach your muscles more quickly and accurately. In simple terms, with carrots in your diet, your brain communicates more efficiently with your legs and feet, reducing the risk of stumbles and falls. Carrots are also rich in dietary fiber, which helps regulate blood sugar, reduce cholesterol, and improve digestion, 3 key areas of health for people over 60. What makes carrots even more special is their simplicity. Unlike many other healthy foods that require complex preparation, carrots can be eaten raw, shredded in salads, sliced as a snack, or lightly steamed. And unlike white potatoes, they have a low glycemic index, meaning they don't cause dangerous blood sugar spikes, making them an ideal food for those looking to protect circulation and nerve health. Eating just 1 or 2 carrots a day might seem small, but over time, this habit can build a powerful layer of protection against many of the challenges that come with aging. In short, carrots are a daily investment in your physical independence. They protect your vision, strengthen coordination, and help maintain the energy and vitality that so often fade with time. They are living proof that you don't need expensive supplements or complex diets to protect what matters most: your freedom to move, the clarity with which you see the world, and the security you feel with every step you take. 1. Eggplant, the hidden threat to joints and mobility. Eggplant is one of those vegetables that seems like a healthy choice at first glance. Low in calories, high in fiber, easy to prepare. It appears harmless. But for people over 60, this impression can be misleading. What many people don't realize is that eggplant belongs to the nightshade family and contains a compound called solanine. This chemical is produced naturally by the plant as a defense mechanism, and in the human body, it can have harmful effects, especially for those with pre-existing inflammation or sensitivity. Solanine has been linked to increased inflammation in joints, muscles, and connective tissue. In other words, it can worsen joint pain, muscle stiffness, and aggravate symptoms of arthritis or peripheral neuropathy, both common issues as we age. But the danger goes beyond pain. This hidden inflammation can affect the leg muscles and motor coordination, silently increasing the risk of falls. Often, older adults begin to feel discomfort when walking, unexplained leg pain, or weakness, without realizing that their diet might be contributing to the problem. And it's not something that happens overnight. Even small but frequent consumption of eggplant can cause low-grade inflammation to build up in the body. Over time, this weakens the muscles, dulls sensation in the feet, and reduces stability while walking. The problem is that many of these symptoms are mistakenly seen as part of normal aging, when in reality they can be reduced or prevented by simple dietary changes. Another important point: the way you cook eggplant does not remove the risk. Whether grilled, roasted, or sautéed, the solanine remains active and may continue to trigger inflammation in sensitive individuals. Of course, not everyone will experience symptoms, but if you already have joint pain, tingling in the extremities, muscle cramps, or reduced mobility, avoiding eggplant is a smart and preventative decision. Instead, there are plenty of nutritious and joint-friendly alternatives like zucchini, steamed carrots, chayote, or roasted pumpkin that are gentler on the body and just as versatile in the kitchen. Maintaining strong legs, flexible joints, and steady movement after 60 requires conscious food choices, and often saying no to something that looks healthy is just as important as saying yes to something that truly protects you.
2. Green bell pepper, the hidden inflammatory that may undermine your stability. Green bell peppers are one of the most common ingredients in everyday cooking. They appear in salads, stir-fries, sauces, and fillings, fresh in appearance and full of flavor. But behind their vibrant color and crunchy texture, this vegetable hides lesser-known risks, especially for those over 60. Just like eggplant, green bell peppers belong to the nightshade family and contain a compound called lectin. Lectins are proteins that, when consumed in excess or by sensitive individuals, can irritate the intestinal lining, interfere with nutrient absorption, and cause chronic, low-grade inflammation. At first, this inflammation might feel mild, almost invisible, but over time, it works like an internal erosion, silently affecting joints, blood vessels, peripheral nerves, and most importantly, your ability to move with safety and stability. And the result? More stiffness in your ankles, tingling in your feet or hands, a sense of instability when walking, legs that feel weak or give out. All of this could be related to inflammatory processes triggered or worsened by foods like green bell peppers, even when eaten in small amounts but on a regular basis. Another concern is that green peppers are harvested before they are fully ripe, which means they contain fewer antioxidants than their red, yellow, or orange counterparts. So not only do they carry compounds that may harm your body, they also offer less in terms of cellular protection. Some people try to reduce their effects by cooking them longer. While heat can reduce lectin content slightly, it does not eliminate the risk, especially in those with sensitive digestion, arthritis, chronic inflammation, or autoimmune conditions. After age 60, your diet should be a direct ally in preserving what matters most: stability while walking, mental clarity, strength in your legs, confidence when getting out of bed or climbing stairs. That's why replacing green bell peppers with ripe red or yellow varieties or other antioxidant-rich vegetables like pumpkin, beets, or carrots is a wiser and safer strategy. Remember, the difference between a steady step and a fall may lie in the smallest details on your plate. What you choose to eat and what you choose to avoid can be the turning point in preserving your freedom, mobility, and long-term well-being. Number 3. White potatoes, the comfort food that quietly weakens your legs, circulation, and balance. White potatoes are one of the most traditional foods in the world. They're part of family meals, cozy dinners, and recipes filled with nostalgic warmth. But for people over 60, this familiar root may be hiding serious risks to muscle strength, circulation, and overall independence. White potatoes have an extremely high glycemic index. This means they cause a rapid spike in blood sugar, followed by a surge in insulin and an inflammatory response throughout the body.
When this cycle happens repeatedly, day after day, it weakens blood vessels, damages peripheral nerves, and accelerates cellular aging, especially in the legs and feet, where circulation is already more vulnerable as we age. What does this mean in practice? Even without diagnosed diabetes, regular consumption of white potatoes may reduce sensation in the feet, cause tingling and nighttime cramps, delay muscle recovery after walking, and increase the risk of falls due to weak or unstable legs. And it gets worse. The glucose overload caused by white potatoes is also linked to arterial stiffening, a condition known as arteriosclerosis. As your arteries lose elasticity, blood flow to your lower limbs drops, leading to heavy legs, fatigue, and instability while walking. And that's not all. Many common potato dishes, like mashed potatoes with cream or cheesy gratins, come loaded with saturated fat, salt, and processed dairy. This combination intensifies the metabolic burden, raising blood pressure, bad cholesterol, and belly fat, all major risk factors for heart disease in older adults. There's also the issue of poor nutritional value. Compared to colorful vegetables like sweet potatoes, carrots, or pumpkin, white potatoes contain very few antioxidants and offer little protection against oxidative stress, one of the key drivers of aging. So by choosing white potatoes, you're not only eating an inflammatory food, but also missing out on the nutrients your body truly needs at this stage of life: protection, strength, and cellular repair. But don't worry, this doesn't mean you need to give up flavor or comfort. It simply means it's time to make smarter choices. Try replacing white potatoes with steamed sweet potatoes, yams, cassava, or roasted squash, foods that provide the same satisfaction but with far better effects on your body: more stable energy, reduced inflammation, and stronger muscles. After 60, every meal is a strategic decision. Either you feed your vitality or you feed the natural decline of your body. White potatoes may seem harmless, but when eaten frequently, they can quietly become one of the main barriers between you and your freedom to move. Now that you've discovered the 3 vegetables you should eat every day and the 3 you should avoid as much as possible, it's clear that healthy aging isn't about magic pills or complicated routines. It's about simple, consistent decisions that you make every single day. Food is a powerful ally, and the effects of your choices show up in everyday details: the strength in your steps, the clarity of your thoughts, the ease with which you rise from bed or walk confidently outside without fear of falling. These choices, often made quietly, are actually powerful acts of self-love. And when you choose consciously what goes on your plate, you're sending a clear message to your body: I want to keep living with freedom, dignity, and joy.
You go to the doctor thinking you're taking care of your health. You go through those routine tests that everyone says are important. You leave the clinic feeling like you've done the right thing. But weeks or months later, your legs don't feel as steady. Climbing stairs feels harder, and that confidence you once had to walk outside starts to fade. And here's the worst part. It may have started with the very test that was supposed to protect you. In today's video, I'm going to reveal 5 common medical tests that could be quietly stealing your leg strength without you realizing it, and how to protect yourself before it's too late. These are procedures often ordered automatically, but when done at the wrong time or without real necessity, they can accelerate muscle loss, damage your balance, and even plant a fear that robs you of your independence. And here's an important warning. The 5th test on this list is the trickiest of them all because it doesn't involve surgery, it's painless, and it can take less than a minute. Yet it can make you believe you're fragile, even when you're not. And once that idea gets into your head,
everything changes for the worse. So stay with me until the end, because each of these points is connected. Understanding the first one will open your eyes, but the last one could save you years of strength, independence, and confidence in your legs. 1. Bone density scan, DEXA, done too often. The bone density scan, the well-known DEXA exam, measures bone density and helps assess the risk of osteoporosis. It's quick, painless, and widely used after the age of 60. But here's the part almost no one talks about. When done too frequently, without real need, it can put you on a dangerous path that ends with weak legs and fractured bones. How? The scan might show a slight drop in bone density, something that's perfectly natural with aging. But instead of reviewing your history and lifestyle, many doctors will immediately prescribe strong medications like bisphosphonates. And when these drugs are used without a real medical need, they can actually make your femur, the bone that carries your entire body weight, more brittle, not stronger. I've seen patients walk into the office perfectly fine, and just over a year later suffer spontaneous fractures with no fall or accident. The result? Surgery, months of recovery, and the loss of confidence to walk, something that often never fully returns. What should you do? Before agreeing to repeat the scan, ask yourself, has there been any real change in my bones since the last test? Has it been at least 3 to 5 years since my last bone density scan? For now, could I focus instead on nutrition, strength training, and sunlight exposure to maintain bone health? Because often, what will truly protect your bones and legs isn't written on a prescription pad. It's in your daily habits. 2. Nerve conduction tests and electromyography, EMG, without clear symptoms. Picture this. You notice a slight tingling in your feet or a bit of numbness that comes and goes. It's nothing that stops you from living your life, but you mention it to your doctor during a routine checkup. To play it safe, they send you for an EMG or an electrical nerve conduction test, the ones that measure the electrical activity in your muscles and nerves. You think, if it's for prevention, why not? But here's the problem. The results of this test can misinterpret something that's perfectly normal with aging and turn it into a diagnosis that changes your life for the worse. What's really happening? As we age, it's normal for nerve conduction speed to slow down, just like our eyesight changes or our hearing gets duller. But many reports interpret these natural changes as neuropathy or nerve compression. And that's where the domino effect begins. You leave the office with a diagnosis you don't fully understand. You're referred to more specialists. You're prescribed medications you may not need. And in some cases, you're already scheduled for spinal surgery that was never truly necessary. Mr. John's case. Mr. John, a fictional name, 73, was always active. He enjoyed gardening and walking his dog. After a mild discomfort in his back, he had an EMG that showed non-specific changes. The neurologist interpreted it as possible nerve compression. 2 months later, he had spinal injections. When that didn't work, surgery followed. The result? Weaker legs, an unsteady gait, and fear of falling. In just 6 months, he lost nearly 30% of the muscle mass in his legs. And it wasn't because of a serious illness. It was because his body went through unnecessary procedures triggered by a misinterpreted test. The invisible danger. This kind of test isn't bad in itself. It can be extremely valuable when there are clear, severe symptoms, sudden loss of strength, intense pain, real difficulty moving. The problem is when it's done just in case, without clinical context, and ends up creating a problem that never existed. What to ask before agreeing to the test. What exactly is my doctor trying to confirm or rule out with this exam? If the result is positive or negative, how will that change my treatment? Are there clear clinical signs that justify doing this test now? Often, waiting monitoring and strengthening your muscles is safer than going through a battery of tests that might open the door to unnecessary invasive treatments. And here's a warning. If you think the risk is only with electrical tests, the next item on the list involves a needle and a seemingly miraculous solution for pain, but repeated over time, it can destroy the very foundation that supports your legs, and almost no one talks about it. 3. Repeated cortisone injections in the knee or hip. It starts with a nagging pain in your knee or hip. Nothing unbearable, but enough to bother you when standing up, climbing stairs, or walking long distances. You mention it to your doctor, and they suggest the quick fix, a cortisone shot. The offer sounds irresistible. It reduces inflammation, relieves pain almost immediately, and you get back to moving more easily. At first, it feels like a miracle, but what no one tells you is that when repeated too often, this quick fix may be silently destroying the strength in your legs. What cortisone does inside your body. Cortisone is a powerful anti-inflammatory. Used occasionally, it can be a great ally. The problem is when it becomes routine, 3, 4, or more injections in the same joint. At that frequency, it doesn't just calm inflammation, it starts weakening the very tissues meant to protect you. It thins the cartilage, damages the joint lining, weakens the surrounding muscles, a process called muscle catabolism. The result is that the pain may decrease, but the muscle and joint support that keep your balance and mobility start disappearing. Maria's story. Maria, 79, active and independent, had been receiving cortisone injections in both knees every 3 months for nearly 2 years. At first, she would say, "I leave walking like nothing ever happened." But over time, she noticed stairs becoming harder. Getting up from her chair required pushing with her hands, and one day, stepping off the curb, her knee simply gave out. There was no fall, no fracture, but when we tested her strength, we found significant atrophy in her thigh and hip muscles, exactly the ones that provide stability when walking. The real danger. This muscle loss doesn't happen overnight. It's slow, silent, and by the time you notice, much of your walking confidence is already gone. What seemed to help avoid surgery can sometimes actually speed the path to it, now with less strength and more risk during recovery. How to use it safely. Limit injections in the same spot to no more than twice a year. Always pair them with physical therapy or strength training to offset muscle loss. Ask yourself, am I treating the cause of the pain or just numbing the problem for a few months? And here's a warning. If you think the problem ends with injections, wait until you hear the next item. It involves a surgery considered simple and minimally invasive, but for anyone over 65, it can rob muscle strength and independence in a way that's hard to reverse.
4. Arthroscopy in adults over 65. You feel some discomfort in your knee or hip. Nothing that stops you from walking, but it's bothersome. Your doctor then suggests a procedure that sounds simple. Let's do an arthroscopy. It's minimally invasive, quick, and you'll go home the same day. The idea sounds harmless. A small incision, a tiny camera, and a cleanup in the joint to remove loose fragments, smooth the cartilage, or repair small tears. But here's what many don't tell you. After age 65, this surgery can do far more harm than good. What really happens? Even though it's called minimal, arthroscopy is still surgery, and any surgery requires a recovery period, less movement, limited weight bearing on the operated leg, avoiding stairs or long walks for days or even weeks. For someone in their 30s, that downtime may not have major consequences, but for someone in their 70s or 80s, those weeks can be enough to cause muscle loss that never fully comes back. Helena's story. Helena, 81, a former librarian, used to walk to the market every day. Her doctor suggested an arthroscopy to clean up the knee and ease mild discomfort.
The surgery was done in the morning, and she went home the same day. But in the weeks that followed, she avoided walking and had to use a walker. By the time she came to see me, she couldn't get up from a chair without help. Her thigh muscles had lost nearly 40% of their strength, not because of a disease, but simply because she believed she could no longer trust her own body. What science says. Studies show that for most cases of age-related joint wear, arthroscopy offers no lasting benefit in pain or mobility. On the other hand, it increases the risk of infection, blood clots, anesthesia complications, and, most importantly, muscle loss from inactivity. Questions to ask before saying yes. Is there clear evidence that this surgery will improve my condition? Have I tried conservative treatments like exercise or physical therapy and strengthening for long enough? What are the risks of weakening my legs during recovery? And here's the most important warning so far. The next item doesn't involve a cut, a needle, or anesthesia. It's a quick test done in the doctor's office that can take less than a minute, but if interpreted the wrong way, it can make you believe you're fragile, even when you're not, and steal your strength simply by planting that idea in your mind. 5. Balance tests that label you as frail. You're at the doctor's office. The doctor or physical therapist asks you to stand on one foot for a few seconds or walk in a straight line. It's a quick, painless, and seemingly harmless test. You try, and you wobble a little. Nothing major, maybe because you didn't sleep well, were tense, or simply aren't used to that type of movement. But for some people, that small imbalance becomes a stamp in their medical record: high fall risk, or impaired mobility. What happens next? From that moment, an invisible and dangerous chain reaction can begin. You're told to use a cane or walker just in case. You start avoiding stairs, uneven sidewalks, or longer walks to be safe. And you know what comes after that. Loss of strength, worse balance, and exactly the fall risk you were trying to avoid. Antonio's story. Antonio, 76, a jazz musician, went to his doctor for a checkup. During a balance test, he wobbled a little when standing on one foot. Immediately, he was labeled high fall risk and advised to use a cane. In the following months, he walked less, avoided going out alone, and started feeling his legs getting heavier. When I evaluated him, he had lost over 25% of his calf and glute strength, not because of a disease, but simply because he believed he could no longer trust his own body. The psychological danger. A poorly interpreted test can plant fear. And fear, when it keeps you from moving, weakens you faster than any illness. Not every wobble means weakness or frailty. Often, it's just lack of training or stimulation, something that can be regained with targeted exercises. And how to handle this type of test. If the result is poor, ask, does this mean I'm incapable or just that I need more training? Request to repeat the test on a different day or under different conditions. Don't accept assistive devices without a real need. Invest in strength training and balance exercises before making permanent changes to your lifestyle. And here's the key takeaway. When someone tells you you're weak, you have two choices: believe it and limit yourself, or take it as a sign to train and prove your body can still do much more. Now that you know the 5 tests that can steal your strength, it's time to learn what to do instead to keep your legs strong, your confidence high, and your independence intact. After seeing these 5 tests and procedures that, when poorly indicated, can rob your strength, here's the most important question. If I shouldn't accept everything automatically, what should I do to protect my legs and independence? The answer isn't just to avoid everything. It's to gain clarity, Ask the right questions and act strategically. Start with function, not fear. Always ask, will this test or procedure make me stronger or just label me as weak? Not every change needs immediate treatment. Sometimes the best treatment is movement, strength training, and lifestyle adjustments. Strengthen before you need to. Strength training, even light, 2 to 3 times a week is the most effective way to maintain muscle mass, balance, and coordination. This includes simple exercises like sitting and standing from a chair without support, climbing steps, or using resistance bands or light weights. Question necessity and frequency. Ask, what exactly will this test change in my treatment? Are there other options before this intervention? What's the risk if I wait and try conservative measures first? Control both your environment and your body. There's no point in exercising if your home is full of hazards. Remove loose rugs, improve lighting, and wear stable shoes, but never use safety as an excuse to move less. Keep your mind in control. Believing you are fragile is the first step to truly losing strength. Remind yourself daily that your body is still capable and that you can improve even after 60, 70, or 80. You weren't born fragile. Your body has built, carried, protected, and overcome more than you realize. Not every loss is inevitable. Many are preventable. The most important test isn't the one your doctor orders. It's your ability to ask, understand, and choose what's truly right for you. If this video opened your eyes and helped you better understand how to care for your legs and strength, comment 1 below. If you'd like to suggest improvements or new topics, comment 0 and leave your suggestion. And if you want to dive even deeper into this subject, I've prepared a special ebook with exercises, guidance, and habits to keep your legs strong and independent after 60. It's available right below this video for a symbolic price. By getting it, you'll not only receive a complete guide to apply today, but also support the Longevity channel in continuing to produce serious, life-changing content.